here today at this rally against Bloomberg because I was a 7th grade teacher last year in the South Bronx, and I know that these schools are stuck in a pre-Eisenhower era mentality. This is not the education that white children are getting in private schools. This is an underclass being educated to be a permanent underclass, and Mayor Bloomberg knows it, and him calling himself the education mayor is a travesty. They occupy the Bronx.
Very disgusting what's been going on with the education and the lack of funding in the city. Even though we have more kids in the system here, they get a lot less money than the kids that are going to school outside of the state, and it's mostly because people, the kids in the system here are people of color, and it's unacceptable. And we have to do what we can to put pressure on Bloomberg and the rest of the city to do the right thing, which is not to close down schools, but to keep them open and to put more money into the system here.
13% is not enough. 13% is not enough. 13% is not enough. 13% is not enough. 13% is not enough.
13% is not enough. 13% is not enough.
I'm here because I work with high school students in the Bronx. Mike Bloomberg is framed himself as the education mayor in New York City, but the schools have continually gotten worse. They're trying to close a record number of schools this year, including almost every big campus high school in the Bronx. So I think in addition to a lot of stuff where Occupy is talking about, this is like access to education. And I think like politics makes it somewhat confusing and like this charter school, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, people should have a decision in what their schools look like. The students, the parents, and the teachers need to have a say in what resources are put in the school, what the future of the school is, what programs the students need. And it can't just be like schools are closed because the mayor says so. That's not okay.
It affects the people that's in the school because it's going to be harder for them to get whatever they need to get. Even though we graduated, but they still need it. Even though we need it too, but they need it more than us.
But yeah, they need more money. He's cutting back a lot of things, and it's been as the years go, it gets harder and harder.
Education failure. Education failure. Education failure. Education failure.
So I'm here today because I'm a parent and a grandparent, and all my children have gone through the public school system, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And frankly, we are fed up with Bloomberg and his shenanigans. He's inside talking all that good stuff about all his success stories. There's no success stories from Bloomberg.
My name is King George. I'm from NYC neighborhood, New York City Community for Change. And I live in Brooklyn, but I used to live in the Bronx in this neighborhood. And a lot of my children graduated from schools in this neighborhood, and they're all doing great, went to college and got good jobs and good positions all over the United States. And like, the reason I'm protesting against it is because for 5 years, we've been trying to establish a good education in the public schools all over, the whole state of New York. And like, we've been very successful until Bloomberg started cutting the money that was sent to him from President Obama, to fix all the schools and to put teachers and build new schools and stuff like that. But he haven't done anything in 10 years. They have not built no new schools. They haven't hired no new teachers. In fact, he fired teachers and he closed down schools when a court order came down that he should not close no schools and put no charter schools in public schools, places that misplace, students, so they don't have no idea how they're gonna get an education or where they're going to get it. So it came to a point where now we're not gonna stand for it no more. So the next move we make, we're gonna get rid of Bloomberg and get rid of the establishment, Ray Kelly from Bloomberg on down. And so we're going back to Albany in March to start that effort, to stop all this discrimination and to stop all this ignoring of the public's opinion, about how education should be run. And we asked Mayor Bloomberg last year to buy a textbook. He just flat out said, no, I'm not buying no books. And so that's why we enraged, and we know that the students are not going to get no good education, you know, behind this type of dictatorship that Bloomberg is trying to pull. And in the first place, it's a crime to be a dictator in a democracy like New York City, which is a working families, you know, city, and where people, education is the most important thing, you know, in our curriculum.
Tenemos que seguir siendo activos en cosas así cuando el gobernador o el alcalde está hablando. Tenemos que apoyar a la gente. Esto es una desgracia lo que están haciendo los políticos con nuestra gente, especialmente la gente latina.
United, we'll never be defeated. The people, 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 united, we'll never be defeated. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting to the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for Bloomberg, 'cause we are the champions.